Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Who are Jose Mourinho's top 5 transfer targets in January? In fact, maybe he wants 5. That is the rumour, that Jose Mourinho actually wants quite a few signings in January. Some Manchester United fans think he won't get anybody. We'll be going through who we believe are the top 5. And I can tell you now, people like Dendoncker and Willian and Meunier aren't going to be mentioned because we've mentioned them before. And Meunier from PSG, the right back, I think is a good shout. He's not in the 5 because we did him the other day. Willian, I don't think Chelsea will sell him. But I must just mention as well, this, Gareth Bale has apparently agreed deal to come back to Manchester United. This is in the last couple of hours. It's from the Scottish Daily Record and the Daily Star. No credibility in either of those papers. With all due respect, they very rarely get anything right and probably just want people to read or click on their paper. But Gareth Bale, again, mentioned. I tell you what, Gareth Bale to Manchester United is a bit meh. I'll believe it when I see it, and we'll probably never see it. The thing I'd say about Bale is what we've seen with Pogba is that when you've got a player that's that good, but when they're out injured or they're suspended, the team really suffers. And I think Bale is so injury prone, you'd have to balance up whether his ability is worth what his use on the pitch would, what his injury record is, sorry. Of course, I'd love Gareth Bale to come to Manchester United. I think £60 million, I'd probably do it because he's still only 28. But his injury record is ridiculous, and Wales saw that. Wales aren't in a World Cup because Gareth Bale wasn't there when it mattered in that qualifier against Ireland. So I don't necessarily believe there's anything in Gareth Bale. Would Mourinho want Bale? I suspect he probably would. There's not a lot of players out there that you know are that quality, Premier League proven, that are going to come in and take you up to another level. But I just have concerns about his injury record. But I really don't think there's anything in it anyway. And just very quickly, breaking news as well. Apparently Jose Mourinho is going to be called to the FA to account for what he said last week before the derby, that Manchester City make tactical fouls. Unbelievable. I mean, it's just typical of the FA again, if that's true, and I don't know whether it's just speculation, to go after Mourinho for no reason. The evidence is out there. I've spoken about it. We've all spoken about it. At Barcelona, at Bayern Munich, and at Manchester City, Pep Guardiola does tactically foul. He does tactically foul. It's a tactic. It's not, Mourinho maybe did it with a tinge of, trying to get into Guardiola's head, which I think is all part of gamesmanship. But the reality is, we've spoken about it, Pep Guardiola makes his team foul early. If you foul early and break up their play, 1, you break up their play, 2, you probably don't get a yellow card for a cynical tactical foul early on. Because if you foul them later on in the final third, you might get a yellow or a red. So he is an advocate of the early tactical foul. It's a tactic. The fact that the FA want to make something about it is bloody ridiculous, but there you go. Anyway, let's get on. I'd love Lozano. Able absorbs. I would love Lozano. I'd like Leon Bailey as well, T-Dog man, but they've both just moved recently last summer. They're not going to be coming to Manchester United. So, I'm going to do 5. There are 5. Any of these 5 could come to Manchester United, but I've done them in some sort of order. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Ivan Goretzka of Schalke. Lots of people getting excited about this because Sky Sports said, I think it was a week ago, that this is a done deal for Manchester United. Look, what I want to say about Goretzka is 22 years of age. I think he's about 6'2". German international. He's got the lot. He's got the absolute lot. As a midfielder, he can play he can play as a number 10. He can play as a CDM. He can play right. He can play left. He can play box to box. He's strong in the tackle. He's creative. He's got a great shot on him. He is exactly what Manchester United need at the moment. We look what we are without Paul Pogba. If you could pop Goretzka in there and he could transform what he is in the Bundesliga and for Germany into the Premier League, and we know that's always a bit of a question mark because Mkhitaryan can't, but if he could do that, he'd be absolutely perfect for Manchester United. Now add into that apparently he's out of contract in the summer, and this deal becomes more and more, why are we not doing it? He's absolutely perfect. However, I have heard from a couple of people that this is not going to happen, and that is why he's in at number 5, because he is linked to us. He would be perfect for us if the transfer works, because we've had people from Germany who haven't worked, obviously. But he's got all those attributes: quick, skillful, tenacious, good in the tackle, box-to-box midfielder. Exactly what we need. Somebody where if Pogba was out, or play with Pogba, because we haven't got that player at the moment who can do the midfield work, but also the creativity. Arsenal want him. I mean, if Arsenal get him and we don't, I think it's a big, big loss, because I think potentially he's going to be one of the best midfielders in the world in 4 years' time. He could be, you know, better than Kroos, or even as good as Kroos would be good. He out of contract in the summer. The only slight, he's physically like Pogba, T-Dog Man says. Yeah, Jake Bullman doesn't want him. Manchester United 96 says, I still believe in Mkhitaryan. I bet you still believe in Santa Claus as well. They call him Fanta Claus. Imagine that. Ginger beard. I bet you still believe in Santa as well if you believe in Mkhitaryan. But Arsenal interested in. Also, about Goretzka, he's picked up an injury. He's injured at the moment, so he probably wouldn't pass a medical in January anyway. So there's a couple of other things about that. Timo Werner says Patrick Mullins. Yeah, very, very good player. How much, says Luka Novak? Well, if it's true that his contract's up at the end of the season, then we'd get him for a very reasonable price anyway, probably about 20 million. And why don't Mourinho buy another midfielder and Mickey to play, says Farmer? Look, I would really like us to get Goretzka. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it would be shambolic if he ended up going to Arsenal. I've clicked the wrong thing. You idiot. I've clicked the wrong thing again. Get with it, you blooming idiot. This isn't meant to happen. I've lost the flow now. You've got to go with the flow. That's not the one. This is unfortunate because it's that one. We get there in the end. Bloody hell, live TV, and I've lost a bit of my arm because I wanted some wine. I needed some wine after that. So, in at 4, I haven't turned my back on Mkhitaryan. I just think he's got a long way back. In at number 4, Mesut Özil. Talking about Arsenal and Goretzka, Mesut Özil would be perfect for Manchester United. And it is another player who is out of contract in the summer, like Goretzka. So the power's with him. I don't think Arsenal are going to want him to go in January. I certainly don't think they're going to want him to come to Manchester United in January. But beggars can't be choosers, and Manchester United need to be doing business in January. We can't wait till the summer. The World Cup's on. The transfer window is shortened. You can't buy 4 or 5 players in a month. Woodward certainly can't. So United need to be doing business in January, and they need to be aggressive. We need to be ruthless and aggressive. I said ruthless the other night about getting rid of some players. We need to be aggressive in bringing players in. If Ozil wants to come to Manchester United, this deal's going to happen. Arsenal can't stop it happening in the summer. So if Ozil wants to come to United, then United need to be aggressive in January and say, look, Arsenal, you're getting nothing in May. Here's 20 million now. And they need to just put their hands up and take it. Now, does Ozil want to come to Manchester United is a big, big thing. But unlike Goretzka, Ozil isn't a box-to-box midfielder like Pogba who can create. Ozil's a creator. Ozil comes into the team and solves the problem that we're not getting from Mkhitaryan, that I don't believe Lingard can do in the big games. Ozil can do that. He can play left midfield, he can play CAM number 10. So, look, 29 years of age, I've wrote this down, 29 years of age, 5'11", Premier League proven to a certain point. He has been playing with a bunch of spineless bottlers for a few years, so it's hard to tell just how much of a spine he's got. But he has done quite well. Ozil, I think Mourinho would like him. Ozil could potentially want to come to Manchester United. Ozil is in at number 4 as far as I'm concerned. And he's certainly a player that I would like at Manchester United. This lad, Savić, let me get this right. Savić Milankovic. Remember when I used to be rubbish at names? Savić Milankovic, who is at Lazio, again in his early 20s. He's a bit of a beast. I think he's about 6'3½", something like that. He's still in contract. Unlike Goretzka and Ozil, he's still in contract, but he is heavily linked to Manchester United. Again, pretty much can play anywhere across the midfield. CDM. He can play as a number 10, but the reason I'm going to call him Savić is Serbian. The reason I'm not too hot on him is because, for me, he's doing great things at Lazio, and people call him the new Pogba. But actually, the weakness in his game, from what I've seen, is passing and going forward. Breaking up the play, he's brilliant at it. He does pick up too many yellow cards for my liking. Aerial duels is fantastic, so you can see why United are linked to him and why Mourinho likes him. But creativity and passing are his weakness. He's not terrible. He can improve on it, but they would be his weak areas. And I look at Manchester United's midfielder and I think, look, Pogba's the only player we've got who's got creativity to do something with it. We've already got Matic, who's a good midfielder but more defensive. Carrick, who is a defensive midfielder now. Herrera, who isn't a defensive midfielder or attacking midfielder. McTominay, who is too young, to be honest, to really judge, but looks like he's going to be a bit more defensive than offensive, and may not make it anyway. And Fellaini, who, you know, realistically, is he even a midfielder? So that's my issue with Savić. He's got about 4 years left on his contract. He'd probably cost about £80 million. And again, he's a bit too defensive when we need to be buying attacking players. You know, people go on about Lukaku, and Lukaku gets a lot of stick. But the reality is, Lukaku should not even be in our top 4 players in the team. Lukaku's a goal scorer. Lukaku needs providers. You've got Pogba world class. You've got Martial who can be world class. You've got De Gea world class. We need a couple of world class stroke top class creators, so that we're creating about 10 chances a game, so that when Lukaku gets 10 chances, he scores 2. We need creators in our team, and that's why I wouldn't be so sure about Savić. Maybe in the future, but not for now. Yeah, so yeah, that's where we are with that one. I'm just going to come back for a minute because I do realise that we are staying a lot on the pictures, and I want to bring you lot back into this. So let's have a little look, because they've still got 2 more. It's not Red Rumours, Kodark Cloud Jr. It's really a look at what players are available in January and likely to come. So we've gone to 5. We've not included Dendoncker, because I don't think we'll take a risk on Dendoncker from Anderlecht. I've not included Willian as much as I'd like him, because I don't think Chelsea will make the same mistake twice with Matic. And I've not included Meunier because I spoke about him, the right back from PSG, a couple of days ago. So I've got Goretzka in at 5, who I think we won't go for, but would be perfect as a box-to-box midfielder who's got the lot. We've got Özil in at number 4, who I think Arsenal will never want to sell to us, but we could be aggressive and force their hand. And then Savić Milinkovic, who is at Lazio, who I think would cost a lot of money and is too defensive for me. We need creators in this team. Definitely need creators. Leon Goretzka. Alexis Sanchez says Akeem Rose. No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Have we got any moderators on tonight? Because I've just had to get rid of somebody. I don't think I overrate Martial, but it's all about opinion. Pulisic says Pankaj. Look, we've got to be realistic about what we're going to get in January. Some people would say you're not being realistic thinking we're going to get Özil, but we're definitely not going to get Christian Pulisic in January. Well, never say never, but I'm going to say never. It's not going to happen. I would love him to come to United. Some people have mentioned Kluivert from Ajax. Again, I don't think it can happen. Icardi next summer, says Connor. I'd love Icardi at United. I wanted him last summer, but we never seem to really seriously get linked to him, but I would love him. But we do need creators. Who are we going to get in January? It says DCO. That's what we're discussing. We've done 3. We've done Goretzka. We've done Savić Milinkovic. And we've done Özil. We've got 2 more to do. 2 more to do. I'm on the wrong page to do them. Jorginho says Subflux Gaming Channel. I've not included Jorginho. I nearly called him the Brazilian, the Italian midfielder. I always get mixed up with the club he's at. I think he's at Napoli, isn't he? And I always think Blue Lazio, but he is at Napoli, I'm pretty sure. He would be very good. He's a very, very good midfielder, very sort of Carrick-esque, and can be quite creative as well. But again, he's somebody we're not linked to, so I wouldn't really think that that's likely. So let's have a look who's in at number 2 for us. João Mário at Inter Milan. Portuguese, 24 years of age, plays left midfield or number 10, although he is right-footed. Not super fast, but very creative, good at dribbling. There's talk of us going for him and swapping Mkhitaryan for him. There's talk that Manchester United reluctantly agree that Mkhitaryan is not up to the task at Manchester United, and may well suit European football more than the Premier League. So they have an asset, and they want to use that asset to facilitate another move. In relation to Mario, look, I don't know loads about him. I've seen bits of him. He's actually spending a lot of time on the bench at Inter Milan at the moment, and he costs them a lot of money. But the issue with him is, I think he's a bit more compact and he's a bit more robust than Mkhitaryan. But there was no reason to think Mkhitaryan wouldn't work at Manchester United in the Premier League. And again, this lad, again, I think he could be really, really good, but he could also, and there are a couple of clubs interested in him. I think Arsenal again and PSG. But again, he could end up not being so good. But we are linked to him, and we do need creators. And I really do think we will buy at least one. So I've put him in at number 2 out of 5 because he just seems to be the sort of player that we would go for. That maybe isn't so high profile. Sort of fits in with what Mourinho likes to do. Interesting player. Interesting player. Can't get into Inter. No thanks for me, says Andrew K. And don't need him, says Alpo Martinez. I totally disagree. We do need a player who is an attacker. João Mário would flop in the Premier League. And Josh Jackson, I tell you what, if that is even true, I'm just going to block you. There's no need for any of that. Bloody idiot. Absolute prat. It's unbelievable. I'm not even going to talk about it. Anyway, Josh, so we'll see what happens with Mourinho. I can't stand people like that. Absolute, you know, absolute idiot. In fact, I'm not even, I'll tell you what, in relation to that, I'm not reading the live comments at the moment. I can't get my head around how vindictive some people are sometimes. Realistically, cop on, you sad little loner. You probably sat there on a keyboard on your own, not with nothing to do, and you just say stuff like that to people. Cop on and grow up, please. We don't have that sort of a community. I'm not going to repeat what he said, but it's just, it really does wind me up. Anyway, Mario, sorry, we've ruined you. So in at number 1, people may like this and they may not. Antoine Griezmann. Yeah, we're going to sign Antoine Griezmann in January. Some people actually think that we are. And the reason I've put him in at number 1 is because I just think Manchester United, Pep Guardiola is talking about, because Kompany's injured and Stones is injured, he might need a centre-back in January. And Man City will go, there's the checkbook, Pep, what do you want? Off you go and get it. And I think Manchester United, for all the 11 points we are behind Manchester City at the moment, and we do know that, for all that, I think Manchester United also need to start making a bit of a status, a bit of a status signing, and making more than a ripple in the transfer window. We are 11 points behind Manchester City. Second place is good, etc., etc. But there are massive problems with this team in relation to when Pogba's out. We really look pretty average, like we did against Bournemouth, like we did throughout October. Against Chelsea, Huddersfield, Liverpool and even Spurs, even though we scraped a win. So we need to go and get somebody who's attacking. Now obviously Griezmann's linked to Barcelona at the moment, and there's still talk of this release clause being 87 million or 89 million. But nobody really needs, we do need to know. Nobody really seems to know whether that release clause is up in January, where he, you know, because at the end of the day, Atletico Madrid can't do anything in January if the release clause is 89 million. Some people think it doesn't kick in till the summer. Look, in relation to Griezmann, he'll either come to Manchester United or he won't at the end of the day. Won't he? And he would be perfect for Manchester United. Again, I think some people quite rightly think about Griezmann, well, physically, is he going to flop like Mkhitaryan? But the reality is Griezmann's a better player than Mkhitaryan, so you would hope, having played with people like Pogba, that he would be quite good. God, I don't know where the moderators are tonight, but can we do something about the thing that is clearly not what we want to be reading? Put them into timeout, please. So yeah, Griezmann probably is a very, very far-fetched thing, but what I wanted to summarise here is that actually, when you look at what's available in January, and you look at Manchester United need to do business in January, and you look at the fact that Manchester United need to sign more attacking players, Griezmann, if that release clause is there, why wait till the summer? Why not do it in January? They are out of the Champions League. Now, Atletico, he might not want to leave in January. He might want to go to Barcelona in the summer. And that's what a lot of people think. But I would love Goretzka and Griezmann, Ridwan Williams, as I'm sure everybody would. He won't be perfect for Manchester United. He'll ruin his clear, says Angad. And we do have McFadden and Tubes are on. If you can read my mind as to what it is that's annoying me, can we just time out those people? I've actually blocked 2, which I probably regret, but yeah, can we please block them? Not block them, time them out. We don't want to block people. But yeah, so Griezmann's in at number 1 for me. So Goretzka 5, Özil 4, Savić Milankovic at 3, João Mário of Inter at 2, and Antoine Griezmann at 1. And I think that in itself was a bit of an eye-opener when I was researching this today. Because obviously you can add in Meunier, you could add in Dendoncker if you want to. Maybe you could add in Timo Werner. Maybe you could add in Willian. But yeah, we need to make signings in January. We all know it's easier to do signings in the summer. We need to make signings in January. But when you actually start looking at it, who are we going to go for? Because one, they've got to improve us. And two, they've got to... they've got to be better than what... Yeah, they've got to improve us. And, well, they've just got to improve us, haven't they? And more than anything, I think they've got to be creators. I think, you know, if we're thinking about fullbacks or a defensive-sided player, wait till the summer. We've got loads of centre-backs. A lot of them can play fullback. We've got Twansibi. We've got loads of centre-defensive midfielders. We need to get attackers. And when you think about that, they are, you know, prime meat. They're prime targets. And there's not loads and loads of them. So, Özil, Griezmann, you know, Goretzka is a box-to-box. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. Please do drop a like on the video. I've neglected to say that. Please do drop a like on the video. We like to get 500 likes while we're live. Which also reminds me that on Sunday night at 9 o'clock. Sunday night live will be 8 o'clock. Remember, we've got the watch-along on Sunday for the West Brom game. Then we'll have 8 o'clock live on the United Stand as usual. But at 9 o'clock on Sunday night, it's our United Stand Christmas party. And that will be taking place on the brand new Mark Goldbridge channel. The reason we're doing that is because it's straight after the 8 o'clock show. And also, I don't think a Christmas party really fits on the channel, which is more about football and analysis and all that lot. But we are wanting to have a United Stand Christmas party. And with my channel opening up over the next few weeks, we've got content on there. We thought, you know, why not? Why not have it as the first show on the channel? Got lots of guests coming on. Be a couple of hours, bit of drink, bit of fun, bit of chat amongst the United Stand community. The link is in the video description to the Mark Goldbridge channel. Just click it. It'll ask you to subscribe it, turn your bell on, and then 9 o'clock on Sunday night. We'll obviously be going live with the Christmas party. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, link in the video description, because that's where the Christmas party is going to be. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Would Griezmann be cup tied? Yes, he would, Andrew Hudson. Draxler, Dybala and Pulisic would be goofing, says must have a game in. I nearly mentioned Draxler because I think he is slightly surplus to requirements. Angad says Angel Gomez just signed a new contract. You're about 26 hours too late on that, Angad, but it is good news. Get an attacker and a winger in January will boost our team greatly, says Sirman. Yes, I think you're right. Yes, I do. Do we have to sell to buy, says Andrew E. Banks. I mean, it's a good point, Andrew. I was going to mention that anyway. Please keep smashing that like button. I want to see 500. Jack Williams has just subscribed to the new channel. Thanks for going and doing that, Jack. I'll see you at the Christmas party on Sunday. Also, I'm at a Christmas party tomorrow night. There's still content going up at 8 o'clock, so don't worry about that. I probably will do a walk home Christmas party video like I did last week, which I had to take down because it was very unprofessional. I was a little bit drunk. Bit too unprofessional for the United Stand channel now, but I can do what I like on the Mark Goldbridge channel. So I will be doing, it'll be about, I would say it'll be anywhere between 11 and midnight, because I've got to be up early on Saturday, he says. But I will do a video reaction walking home from my Christmas party. It won't be on the United Stand, it'll be on the Mark Goldbridge channel. So again, that's a reason to subscribe, link in the video description, and click the bell so that when that goes up, we've got to be aggressive in the transfer market, says Sam M. Exactly. Ruthless in relation to players we get rid of, aggressive in relation to players we bring in. They'd be the two words I like to bring forward. Chad Sproul has subbed as well to the Mark Goldbridge channel. Thank you. Swap Griezmann for Herrera or Mkhitaryan, says Jay White. I would love to. Anything Gaming has subbed as well to the Mark Goldbridge thing. Pericles has given us a spoiler for the for me tomorrow night. Says Mark will be drunk. Yeah, it's good. Call fans. We'll do some call-ins on Sunday night as well. I think that's a good idea for the Christmas party, yeah. And Zach M has just subscribed and turned on notifications. But going back to the ruthless bit about who we should get rid of in January, Fellaini wants to go, let him go. Fellaini wants to go, that is the rumour, so let him go. Even if he doesn't want to go, let him go. And as I said, Darmian and Blind, they'd be the two I'd get rid of. They're not first teamers. They're decent squad players, but they'd both be very much wanted in Europe, and we'd get good fees for them. So I like Darmian and Blind, but I'd never really want them in the team. And actually, I'd rather have better players on the bench. So I'd let Darmian and Blind go, because I think they are quite indicative of what the problem is with Manchester United at the moment. That we've got a lot of players who are okay stroke good. And we need 2 or 3 more players who are top class. That's what we need. Mr. United said, as a percentage, how likely is it that we don't sign anyone in January due to a lack of support from the board? I think it's about 60%. I think it's massive. I mean, I don't know what the board do, but I hope that a lot of them do sort of get a feeling that United fans expect some business to be done in January, partly because they didn't do all the business they should have done in the summer, and partly because we are a long way behind Manchester City and our attacking options are mid-table when Pogba's not fit. And you look at what Man City can do, you know, they rotate Aguero and Jesus, and they've got Bernardo Silva on their bench, one of the best attacking midfielders in Europe last season. United, if Pogba's out, we're playing a kid, McTominay. We're playing Jesse Lingard as a number 10. Jesse Lingard wouldn't even be allowed into the training centre at Manchester City, let alone run out as a number 10. And that's nothing against Lingard. That's just what we're up against. We need to be ruthless and we need to be aggressive and we need to get attacking midfielders in. So going back to your question, Mr. United, and thanks for the contribution, we need to go. We need to go and get out some players in January. And if we don't, I think there'll be scrutiny on the board, because I'd say 90% of Manchester United fans feel we need to be aggressive in the transfer window starting in January. Scott Kent, can't wait for the new channel on Sunday. Sounds fantastic. Christmas party cheers. Mark, you doing a Christmas Day show, and please sing the 12 cantonades for all United Stand fans. I might sing a few songs on the Christmas party on Sunday night, so remember, do subscribe to the channel. Anyway, I'm nearly slightly overrun because busy night tonight. I'm going to go and do Top 4 Battle Show Premier League preview on That's Football. I've not done one for a while. I'm literally going to be live on there in about 2 minutes time when I've wrapped up with you guys here. Really enjoyed the show tonight. I love these sort of shows. I've been trying to find some time to do it because it's been busy, and we are only 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away from the opening of the January transfer window, when we'll be back with Transfer Daily at 7 AM every day going up. But you know, I'm passionate about transfers. I can't help it. I find it interesting. I love the summer, and I love January's normally a bit boring, but I think it's going to be interesting for United. So that's coming back, and I like talking about it with all you lot. So thank you, everybody who's been on today, which is quite a lot of you. Thanks for the likes on the video. If you haven't liked, please do drop a like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We're nearly on 162,500. Remember, Mark Goldbridge's channel for the Christmas party on Sunday, and also for my drunken walk home tomorrow night. That will be on my phone on the Mark Goldbridge channel, which is new. There's no content at the moment, but you can get on there and subscribe and turn your notifications on. The link in the video description is in there for that. And also, the link is in the video description for That's Football. I think it's the second paragraph. I'm going to be live there in 2 minutes' time with my Premier League preview on the That's Football channel. So I'll see you over there, and please do join me, because it's a bit of a shorter show tonight, but I will be live for another 20 minutes or so on That's Football. Link in the video description. I'll see you soon. Fantastic tonight. I do miss. I can't help it. I do like talking about transfers, and I've been in good. I like that. Salim Hussein has just subscribed to That's Football as well. Well, I'll see you on there in a moment. Link in the video description. Thanks everyone tonight, and I'll see you in a bit on That's Football.